They laughed when he stayed silent. They joked about his plain uniform. Then someone explained what his medals really meant, and the room fell silent. In the military, noise often gets attention. Loud voices, strong opinions, and big egos tend to dominate the space. But this soldier, he was different. He was the quiet one. He spoke only when it was absolutely necessary, and even then, his words were measured and precise. He usually stood at the back of the room, observing, listening. He never felt the need to correct anyone who underestimated him, and people did underestimate him all the time. During briefings, others would talk over him, assuming he had nothing valuable to add. In the mess hall, the jokes were constant and just loud enough for him to hear. "Does that guy even see combat?" Someone would snicker. "Those medals look ancient." Another would comment. "Probably handed out for pushing paperwork." He heard every single word, and he said nothing. His uniform was always clean, but simple. No flashy patches, no aggressive posture. Just calm, steady eyes and a profound silence. Most of his peers just assumed he was support staff, someone who stayed far from the action, followed orders, and kept himself safe. They couldn't have been more wrong. Years earlier, this quiet soldier had served in places that few people ever talk about. He was on missions that never made the news, operations where silence was the key to survival. He was part of a small elite unit, dropped into some of the most unstable and dangerous zones in the world. Their task: protecting innocent people who would never even know their names. There were nights with no air support, no backup on the way. The only thing they could rely on was their training and the person next to them. On one particular mission, their convoy was hit by a surprise attack. Chaos erupted instantly. Communications went down. In the midst of the mayhem, he didn't shout. He didn't panic. He just moved. With calculated precision, he pulled wounded soldiers to cover, one by one. He returned fire only when it was absolutely necessary to protect his team. He stayed exposed to enemy fire longer than anyone else, making sure his comrades were safe before thinking of himself. When the evacuation chopper finally arrived, every single man from his unit was alive. Thanks in large part to his quiet, decisive actions. Those medals on his chest, they came from moments exactly like that. But back at the base, surrounded by a new group of soldiers, no one bothered to ask about them. And he never volunteered the stories. One day, a formal gathering was held on the base. It was a big event with new officers, senior command, and a ceremony for awards and recognitions. The quiet soldier stood in line with everyone else, just another face in the crowd. The whispers started up again. Why is he even here? Seriously, those medals don't look that impressive. Then, a senior officer stepped forward to address the room. He was a man with decades of service, a man who commanded respect. He had been there. He had seen it all. He scanned the room, his eyes finally landing on the quiet soldier, and he spoke. Some of you might be wondering about this soldier's medals. The room stilled. The casual chatter died down. "You see ribbons," the officer said, his voice firm. "But you don't know the cost behind them." He pointed to one of the medals on the soldier's chest. That medal was earned under heavy fire when he stayed behind so the rest of his team could escape. He pointed to another. That one came from a mission where silence saved lives. And speaking a single word would have gotten good men killed. The room was completely silent now. You could hear a pin drop. "These are not just decorations," the officer continued, his voice resonating with authority. "They are reminders of sacrifice, of courage you can't imagine." He turned to the quiet soldier, a look of deep respect in his eyes. This man doesn't speak about what he's done, because real service doesn't need an audience. No one laughed anymore. Eyes that were once filled with judgment now lowered in shame and newfound respect. For the first time, they didn't see a quiet, unassuming soldier. They saw a hero, a protector. After the ceremony, nothing really changed about him. He didn't boast about the recognition. He didn't walk with a new swagger. He simply went back to work, as diligent and silent as ever. Because he was never there for the applause or the recognition. He was there to do his duty, to fulfill his responsibility. His actions had always spoken louder than words ever could. Have you ever judged someone before you knew their full story? Tell us about it in the comments below. And if you respect the quiet heroes like this soldier, give this video a like and subscribe for more stories that truly deserve to be heard. Thanks for watching.